Carnival is color, carnival is mass, but whole day in the savannah, you can't see a steel band pass. And them bands with their pretty costumes.
The Politics of Party, where we go behind the music, behind the trussing, behind the microphones and the iconic sets, behind the mind-blowing performances, behind the madness, to talk about what keeps the industry alive. Who is it built on? The carnival economy isn't just about vibes, it's about vision. Join us as we unmask the industry in the Politics of Party.
Just give him a small clap and be proud you're from Trinidad, yeah? Hey, but why you pelting?
Politics of Party today, Robin Imamsha. We take a pause. Cliff Harris, deserving of another pause. And then, of course, Ronnie Mc Intosh, all pauses due. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Politics of Party. These are veterans in our industry. How did you start in the business?
Wow, I started basically at the age of 7. My dad was one of the main arrangers for most of the Calypsonians back in the day. Art Decoto was his name.
Professor Art Decoto.
Well, yes, yeah, he was the first professor. So I would have done, being a percussionist, or what they call like a conga player. I would play congas in the tents. I did CDC tent, which is, well, that's before NCC. CDC was Carnival Development Committee back in the day, yeah, now it's NCC. So we did that. We would have done Masters then, which was Shadow. We would have then done Kingdom of the Wizards, which was William Monroe. We did Calypso Review, which was Kitchen Up, with Jazzy Pantin and stuff. And however, there was the original Young Brigade, which was the OYB, Sil Taylor, which was Sparrow. And then Sparrow moved on to the SYB, which was Sparrow's Young Brigade. However, I was not allowed, to play.
Too young?
Yeah, no, not too young. The type of songs was there, remember? It was He Lick She and them kind of things from Baron back in the day. So Daddy say, you can't go in them.
Not in that particular tent.
Those days what they call smut. So that tent had most of these smutty calypsos.
Do we have smut these days, you think?
Yeah, we have smut.
Some.
Crazy kept it alive with his double entourage. You know, even one of my songs called Biting Insects. Which we did. Well, we'll get to
Cliff wrote that song?
No, Cliff didn't write this song, but he chose it actually.
I know that.
Biting Insects was a nice
intersection.
Line. I sang that song in schools, primary schools, and the kids were singing too much biting insects.
Cliff.
And they had no idea.
You tap him, so you bring you up.
Where
Cliff, how did you start in the business?
All right, so originally I'm from Sunny Grandy, which I'm proud of.
Grandy in the building.
Grandy in the building.
Yeah. So I had liked music, especially when the combos came out, and I decided, well, I have to play guitar and I have to form a band. So I formed this combo in Sunny Grandy. And by the way, there was a band that used to practice. They say rehearsal, but in those days we say practice. About 2 miles away from where I live. And during the night, you used to hear the music coming when the breeze blow through the forest. And I followed that song until I found the band. It was 2 miles away. And I said, I jumped through a window, right?
Yeah, they still jump through window, but go ahead.
Go ahead. Yes, I jumped through that window many times just to find a band. And I found them, and I started playing the band.
And that was the start.
Every night, yeah. And then, and I said, so I played in the band. And the first night I played in the band was in Fishing Pond. And they had a fight, and I ran from the boys played and run.
And Robin, you were telling me a story earlier about your first musical instrument.
Yeah.
Tell the listeners that story.
Well, okay. First of all, I started my music business in music in Tunapuna, in a tree house. That's where I used to have a tree house. I used to go up there and smoke cigarette and play guitar. And I met Carl Beaver Anderson in school. And we formed a band called Last Supper. We had a few hit songs, Trinidad Boogie and all this kind of thing. Anyway, one of the things that you were mentioning in our conversation before was how I got this guitar. So I passed common entrance and at 11, and I asked my mother and father to get me a Skilletric set, racing cars and things, right? And they said, I can mash it up in about a week. So she took me down to Port of Spain. But she's a working town, so Port of Spain into Salgoons, and bought me a $25 guitar. And the person who I bought that guitar from is Cliff Harris, right? At that age, right? And when I first met this guy, I mean, I find he was real arrogant and cocky. You know, he played all the keyboards, and all the guitar. He's the head on showing sarcasm. You can see boy walking around and I kind of humble, sir, can I borrow a guitar thing? And he watched me like, oh God, yeah, look, take that $25. So the 25, I never forget that Eggman, right? Eggman, never forget. And a steel string, and I remember $60, 60 cent book, CF&G, how to play the guitar. And that's how it began.
I want to ask Cliff, what do you think Robin Imamsha's contribution to the music and entertainment industry in Trinidad and Tobago is?
Well, I always say that Robin made a huge contribution to the music industry. And really and truly, he don't get the recognition for it. And when Robin started using computer, was it Robin?
Yeah.
They said he was, right, that he wasn't accepted with that because they were saying that because in those days everything was live. Ronnie playing percussion and thing, right? And when Robin brought into this computer to the band, they say Robin playing fake music. But here it is today. Every band have 1 or 2 computers.
No, well, basically, the band is a computer.
Today, it is.
And Paige, all this big sound and light and big stage. That's the band.
Follow us at the Politix of Party on YouTube, Instagram, and join the conversation on TikTok.
Oh, they come off the stage.
You don't just need a new hairstyle, you deserve to leave feeling beautiful, confident, and unstoppable. I know what it's like when you're craving that fresh, feel-good glow, but end up leaving the salon feeling just, okay. That's not what you deserve. Hi, my name is Melissa Jones of Soya Beauty, and when you walk through our doors, my goal isn't to just give you a new hairstyle. I'm here to remind you of the magic you already have. I take the time to listen because your hair is personal. It reflects how you feel about yourself. Now, here's what's interesting. When you feel good about your hair, it's like a domino effect. Your confidence kicks in, your posture changes, and you see yourself differently. But here's what's also surprising. It's not about perfection or having the trendiest haircut or hair color. It's about you walking out feeling ready to take on the world. Because when you feel unstoppable, there is nothing you cannot achieve.
Carnival is color, Carnival is mass, but whole day in the savannah, you can't see a steel band pass.
So Robin, jump to you now. If you had to describe your contribution to the music industry, what would you say that it was?
Okay, it started with me when Claude and Frank Martino asked me to do the PA system for Michael Jackson, right?
So just for the benefit of our viewers, Frank Martino is the Spectacular Promotions, which is another very significant promotion outfit in Trinidad, and they were responsible for bringing Michael Jackson to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Okay, so I had a band, as I mentioned before, last upon. I was always experimenting with reinforcement. It's a new word that was coined in the 70s. It was not a PA system public address anymore. It was song reinforcement. So it was not just the vocal you're reinforcing, but you're reinforcing the whole band, right? Drums, everything coming through the PA system. That was brand new and nobody really was doing it. So when Martino came, well, they heard my band before and they wanted that song in the Savannah. So that started where I went, and we didn't have any ready-made systems in Trinidad like that. So I had to go to Joy Production and Production Song, all the different DJs rent the equipment. I went to a guy up in Piaco to rent a special horn, right? I encountered every problem that they could imagine in culture in Trinidad. I go to this Indian guy and I ask him for his horns, right? And he says, who is it for? I want to rent it, right? And he said, I said, well, it's for Michael Jackson and Jackson 5. He said, me, I'm renting to those monkeys. You hear the racism there, right? And me now, being, I don't know what he's talking about. I said, no, it's not the monkeys. It's Jackson 5. There was a band called the Monkeys, you know, right? So I thought that's what he's talking about. I said, no, it's not the Monkeys, it's Jackson 5. Frank Martino was right by my side and he touched me and he said, well, let's go, I think. I wasn't leaving until I get them horns because the way I designed the system to Jackson 5, those horns that he had was important. And I had to do all kind of raise the price till I eventually got it. Long story short, I get this whole big PA system in Savannah. And I don't even remember Nuano. Is it Nuano? The one who had the P. Neville Aliong. Neville Aliong. We had
by the Oval.
Yeah. And he had all the big PA system in Savannah at the time, right? And when he realized that he wasn't getting the job, right, he protested right up to Eric Williams. He went to Eric Williams, who was big in the party, to say why this white boy, I can see that?
Yeah, you can see that.
Why this white boy getting this job, or my job, I have only paid. And well, that was subsided. We put the PA system up in the thing, right? And when the Jacksons come now and they see this thing, right? Marlon Jackson comes to me one fun, we to find out who was the engineer, right? So I like send him to me. And he come to me, I think the first thing he asked me, what is that? And he's pointing to the two big PA system stacks, you know. Jackson 5 did not even know what a big PA system was, you know. Because they never, those black acts in the States were never allowed to play on big venues. You see? They were only to play in halls and libraries and stuff, or small television shows. So they never experienced what a big PA system. This is no joke, eh? So I said, well, that's the PA system. He looked at it and he says, you have reverb? I said, if I have reverb, of course I have reverb. You know, that is Marlon Jackson. He was trying not to look like never see come see, right? Okay, so it went down great, everything went. But what happened? The downside of that, the upside of that was that the black acts in the States started to realize that when they came to Trinidad and Tobago, they'll be put onto big stages with big PA systems, something that they don't get in the United States.
Who else would have come after the Jacksons?
Commodores, Celebrate, Cool and the Gang, right? I do all of them. Gladys Knight and the Pips. Peaches and Herb. So all these acts come into Trinidad because they want to be on this big stage. And here am I with this. If you see this PA system with all kind of different color, because everybody different box. People used to paint the box in red and green or whatever. And in fact, Marlon Jackson, when he watched it, he said, can you put a black cloth in front of each one? Because it was looking so ghetto, yeah?
Right.
But it was working. So this is where the PA system situation happened, right? And that is why, like, when I did bands like Chandelier, we bring out this big PA system to play in parties. When I remember Cliff coming up to Val Park when he first played, right? And Cliff heard the PA system, and he just, I paraphrasing it, I said, that could go anywhere. I said, yeah. That clicked in Mr. Genius' head here, right? Because now I could put more people in our party because the band gonna supply, right? So that he will tell you how he did it, but he moved parties from the word called big fat into super fat.
So usher in the era of the real big party in Trinidad. And you talked about Chandelier. I want to go straight to you, Ronnie, because Chandelier was your baby.
That's the start for me, you know.
Yeah.
So I would have done the 10s, as I said, but then we're looking for the transition. Ronnie Sylvester was a member of Chandelier. Ronnie Sylvester is the son of Ray Sylvester, which is big band, you know, that is with Ed Watson, Ray Sylvester on the brass. That was the band days. So like, that would have been 1985. So Ronnie would have said to me, of course, back in the 10s, the calypsonian who makes the finals would have carried the quote-unquote engine room. Because those days, the police band would have backed up the calypsonians.
In the 10s.
But for some reason, the drummer and the conga player and the Iron Man was kind of soft. So the calypsonian would carry the engine room to back up the artist. So the horn players will play exactly what's on the sheet, but the rhythm now. So yeah, so we started roving on things scrunter the will and licky thing. So we move in, and then Ronnie Sylvester said, well, those days is live, there's no machine. So on the road is live drummer, live conga player, live timbales player, live bongos, live iron, live everything. So
Live everything,
obviously you need to hire additional hands because one man can't play 2 days.
Yeah.
So they hired me as an extra hand, and I came and I went to the Dimasgra rehearsal because I was back in Scrunter that year, and Chandelier would have been in Tranquility Tennis Court, but of course that is Sunday, so you're the truck building. So in the Sunday night fete, you're playing on the truck because you're heading to Juve or whatever, right?
Yeah, to go out on the road.
Right. So I swing in by Tranquil Tennis Court before I go to the Savannah for the dress rehearsal. Nobody was there. I think I was kind of early. So I went and do the rehearsal and I came back. And I came back, I run straight into Carl Jacobs. I know where Cliff was, but Cliff couldn't climb up and pong up nothing. He wasn't in part of ponging. He was management. So Cliff ain't tying up no banner and them kind of thing. Yeah, Cliff's management. So I look up on the truck, I say, Carly, I'm talking to Carly. And he looking down, he say, I need to come. And then he come down, I say, Ronnie Sylvester told me, come and to come and check it, to play on the truck. He say, oh, use Artisan, meaning Art Dakota. So I say, yeah. I'm okay, no problem. Then them days they play with Edmund Hart, not Hearts, Edmund Hart. They leave him on Juning Avenue. Hearts, Edmund Hart used to cross the stage first. No problem. So I leave, they're excited because I'm going on a truck. Excited.
And this is your first time, 1985.
Truck, 85. But however, we have the March Gras with Scrunter. That was the will. I say, I just get the will from Long Kitchen, right? Cool. Right. The will and a song called Licky Ting. Cool. Back up Scrunter, Scrunter win. Scrunter win. So when Scrunter win, there's some kind of afterline now. So I left the Savannah and joined the afterline. And I think that afterline went till was in 4:30, Mr. 5. Cool, but Hearts just crossed the stage first. So they told me, Carly said, be there for, was it 9 Monday morning. I think I got up 8:30. So by the time I reached by Junior Avenue, Chandelier gone. This is my first ever appearance with this big band as a percussionist.
On the road.
So good.
Carnival
so
Monday.
Yeah, I asked a question. They say, well, Chandelier, they say Hearts on the stage already. So I said, okay, cool. I'll catch them on the exit. So I'm on the Savannah and I stand up by the exit. I see truck coming. I see the little banner, Chandelier. And I climb up. But of course, them days, as a youth, it was no joke thing. That was a serious thing. If you're late, it's a serious thing, So I jump up in the truck. Everybody started watching me kind of cut and like,
Because you were late.
There's your first chance. So cool, but a young, spritey, the wrist functioning. I played Husey with Concrete Husey, so the wrist. And I started to relieve. I say, a man say, congas, okay, putum, right. A man say, iron, right. And I relieve in. Hurry, come for curry.
Yeah, we play that.
That is David Booker Martin. Am we good? Sukaran, bring it from long tongue. If you see how people get around, right? In Hurry, come for curry, had a solo with a little tang. So I have Hurry, come for curry all the. So my Concrete who say rest on the bongos took effect. So I got up on the bongos now when the solo reached. And everybody started to look wrong way. Say, what? Small man, good.
Man have a real talent.
Carol Jacobs looking wrong at me. So what? So even though I was late, I started to catch myself as the day went on. And so at the end of the night, well, I didn't understand what earplugs was about. Because everybody had earplugs. I had none. That is to take out the noise. Because when I came off the truck Monday night, I ain't, you can't hear
It was
nothing.
ringing.
So I green. However, the Tuesday morning, think we assembled in Woodbrook, and as a token of appreciation and apology, I packed a little bag with a gallon of X and a gallon of Y and a gallon.
And a gallon
And I
of
bought-
X,
because I
Y,
have
and
stuff.
Z. Guys, origin stories from some of the veterans in the music business.
Are we taking a break?
We are taking a break now.
This is empty.
We need to refill our drink, so we're taking a break on the Politics of Party. We will be right back.
They don't like to come off the stage. Oh, they come off the stage, man, come off. Hey, listen.
I love you, love. Be more back carnival. This is we carnival.
The sweetest place is where I call home. Every creed and race out on the road. We free to be we, and love is the reason. It's in with DNA. Everybody jump when all the way top don't make a mass in here. Connection strong, heart full of love, come here in memory. It's we bring the vibes, we come alive, and smile on every face.
It's time to move in from ever since I smiled.
Oh, I love the carnival. Boy, we love the carnival. The mobile carnival. Boy, we love the carnival. Oh, I love the carnival. Boy, we love the carnival. The mobile carnival. Boy, we love the carnival. Oh, I love the carnival.
I love you, love. Be more back carnival.
I love, we carnival.
You don't just need a new hairstyle, you deserve to leave feeling beautiful, confident, and unstoppable. I know what it's like when you're craving that fresh, feel-good glow, but end up leaving the salon feeling just, okay. That's not what you deserve. Hi, my name is Melissa Jones of Soya Beauty, and when you walk through our doors, my goal isn't to just give you a new hairstyle. I'm here to remind you of the magic you already have. I take the time to listen because your hair is personal. It reflects how you feel about yourself. Now, here's what's interesting. When you feel good about your hair, it's like a domino effect. Your confidence kicks in, your posture changes, and you see yourself differently. But here's what's also surprising. It's not about perfection or having the trendiest haircut or hair color. It's about you walking out feeling ready to take on the world. Because when you feel unstoppable, there is nothing you cannot achieve.
Carnival is color, carnival is mass, but whole day in the savannah, you can't see a steel band pass.
Cheers, look straight in the eye, look straight in
But
the
not
eye.
chairs, we can go tables. We're going for chairs.
Back into the Politics of Party, having a lime at Deckies in One Woodbrook Place, the Politics of Party, the Trinidad edition. And Cliff Harris, you've been in this game 50 odd years. What have you seen change between when you started in the party scene and what we have today? Because you still produce events, which is unlike many people of your generation. What is different? What have you seen change over the years?
All right, so when I started doing promotion, back then it have bands like Dutchy Brothers, Joey Lewis, and they, right? And they used to sit down and play music. Sit down. So their rider was chairs.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah, very true, eh?
Yeah, they used to sit down
With guitar man, everybody sitting down.
with a white shirt and black pants. Dutchy Brothers was the first band to start dancing on stage yet. And use a nice shirt, pretty shirt and thing, right?
So that's when the theater in the music business really started
Right,
on the
from
stages
Dutchy
in
Brothers.
Trinidad, yeah.
Yeah. And then, and within that time, the combo bands took over in Trinidad, Casanovas and Group Solo.
Now, the combo bands were different than the Dutchy Brothers and all these were like orchestras. The combo was like a rhythm and blues setup, you know.
Yeah, guitar and what they call it organ in those days. Now we say keyboard, right? Yeah. Right, and so Carnival, they used to include horns in the band. So it's silver string with brass, Casanovas with brass. And that's the transition. It started from there. And then Robin came with Chandelier, this big song in Trinidad. And all these things that's happening right now, that's the man responsible for it. Or like what Davey and Johnny Q and all now, Robin responsible for it. Right? And if I should say that I am responsible for the big stage And that came as from brass back.
Super fat. It's super
So,
fat.
so you were the man who orchestrated Brass Festival.
Absolutely.
Great. Because Brass Festival is really, for those of you who are looking at us, Brass Festival is a signature event in the Trinidad and Tobago party landscape. When you really wanted to see the quality of an artist, you had to see them in Brass Festival. And this is the man responsible for that. And everything we have now is emanating from that time when we had Brass Festival, which was what, 8 bands, 9 big full brass bands?
We reached 15 bands.
15 bands. So at its peak, 15.
Yeah.
First band on stage 5 p.m. You know.
Yeah.
And that is full
5 p.m. eh?
full
First band on stage
band.
5 p.m. and last band on stage maybe 6 a.m.
So we had bands from all the islands. And I used to get called, like how you would get called from Trinidad artists now, to come to Trinidad. I talk about WCK from Dominica, Spice from Barbados, Byron from Jamaica, right? And then it had a band from Grenada, and Little became of them, Moss International. And then they had Mingles from Guyana. So they all used to come for Carnival, for brass.
To perform in Brass Festival.
Yeah, one night and they gone. And then they all wanted to come back for brass.
What caused the demise of Brass Festival?
So, okay. So how it started, how brass started. So I used to do Soca Village. Opposite.
You must talk about Soca Village also. Eh? That
Yeah.
is, yes.
Very important.
And that was designed, that venue was designed for 4 bands. 2 on the post office end and 2 down by the traffic light, and if you want to call it that, right?
And what's the maximum capacity?
8,000.
Okay, good.
8,000.
So imagine that. Eh?
8,000 Friday and
Cliff
8,000
is not
Saturday.
telling you that before him, big parties was like 2,000 people if they had much.
Well, even before that, so there was a guy that, God rest his soul, Earl Harris. He started giving parties and it was holiday,
Opposite, yeah.
right? And he did like what Kerry Packer did to cricket. Put everybody together. Ray Sylvester, Mado Marson, Edwardson, right? And every party going trend used to be holiday.
I remember hearing about these things when I was a child growing up.
Remember
I remember
hearing.
that my mother
Remember
used to
hearing.
leave San Fernando and come
I
to
never
Port of
see you
Spain
in
to go
front.
to
I never see
holiday
you in
Inn.
front. No stage in Soca Village, but you remember hearing. Okay,
I remember hearing about it when I was younger.
Continue. Remember hearing.
Yeah, so all the party goers, I mean, young, old, middle class, lower class, used to go to Holiday Inn. But Holiday Inn was a prestigious venue.
Right.
You go
Were
to
the
Holiday Inn
parties more mixed then? Everybody just used to come to one party.
Well, you had
no
because-
segregation, no VIP.
Okay. Why? You know why? You had no choice. All the bands used to be there. So where you going? And it's Carnival, right? And then he ran Holiday Inn for a couple of years. And then when Issa Nicholas bought Holiday Inn from Holiday Inn International, right, he went to the Port Authority. That's why he had Soca Village. So when he went there that year, he lose the people that used to go to Holiday Inn because a different
Venue.
right
Different
across the
energy.
road.
Yeah.
Right. So then he called me and asked me if I would take it. I said yes. And I came up with this concept of Soca Village, which was that's something that Soca Village was like what upper level used to be. Every band is a song. I don't know why.
Upper level, you have to, she don't know about, they don't know
I absolutely know upper level.
You
Absolutely.
heard about upper
No,
level.
I went to upper level for party time.
Okay.
Okay, then,
Right,
right, but
right,
my
right.
humblest apologies.
I
man.
went to upper
Okay,
level for
okay,
party
all right.
time.
Go ahead, you're outside wrong. You're wrong. I'll give you that.
So this particular Saturday, I ended up with 7 bands. And I couldn't put them in that small car park. So this idea came up of Brass Festival. And I took it to
Okay, I
Yes,
don't see where you're going there.
well, in those days, we didn't have generators like now. So we had one generator from the port. I remember the price, $1,200. And that generator is making almost no noise.
You know, and I just want to stick up in here. It's really interesting because now what we have is an environment where you have a whole bunch of companies who have made their name and built their fortunes on supplying people like Cliff Harris and others with things like generators and scaffolding and stages and so on. So I think what we see now is the rise of this commercial complex that has become Carnival. And we see it right here with you, Brass Festival. You see, you had a spot, it was too small, and you had to move because it became too big. And now we have Brass Festival, which becomes a regional event as opposed to a Trinidad and Tobago event. So this international musical cooperation that we are talking about now is something that started way back then.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
if I'm not mistaken, did you ever have any non-Trinidad and Tobago artists at Brass Festival?
Of course, but
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
No, but
So
they-
this has
Of course.
been
you
this
know what
has
the names
been
you call, she
happening.
wasn't familiar.
Yeah.
This has
WCK,
been happening.
Dominica.
No, I know WCK, but
Right.
I'm just trying to
Spark,
flag that
spark,
we're
yeah.
having
Okay.
these concerns
Yeah.
about other people coming into the carnival.
Oh, you went there?
But we
Oh, okay.
had these people in the carnival all along. It has always been a regional thing. WCK is huge in Dominica.
Yeah, CK now.
And yeah,
CK now.
CK now, and you also had Spice from Barbados. I remember those bands.
Crossfire Square one.
Yeah, Crossfire Square, and I remember those bands. And Byron Lee.
Wookie.
Burning Flames.
Burning
Yeah.
Flames.
Byron Lee used to come with his own sound system though.
So we've been doing this for a long time. It's not new.
Trinidad Carnival is an international thing. It's not just, it's not that traditional.
Join us for part 2 of this exciting conversation on the politics of party with Cliff Harris, Ronnie Mc Intosh, and Robin Imamsha.
And they ready to pelt him down. But that pelting ain't nice. It does make the country look bad. Hey.
You don't just need a new hairstyle, you deserve to leave feeling beautiful, confident, and unstoppable. I know what it's like when you're craving that fresh, feel-good glow, but end up leaving the salon feeling just, okay. That's not what you deserve. Hi, my name is Melissa Jones of Soya Beauty, and when you walk through our doors, my goal isn't to just give you a new hairstyle. I'm here to remind you of the magic you already have. I take the time to listen because your hair is personal. It reflects how you feel about yourself. Now, here's what's interesting. When you feel good about your hair, it's like a domino effect. Your confidence kicks in, your posture changes, and you see yourself differently. But here's what's also surprising. It's not about perfection or having the trendiest haircut or hair color. It's about you walking out feeling ready to take on the world. Because when you feel unstoppable, there is nothing you cannot achieve.